These people are fucking nuts, and you should be calling them out. Somebody like you, it's demeaning and insulting, quite frankly, because it's...
Let's segregate society between dark-skinned people and light-skinned people, because that nature made it that way, and that's how it is.
The debate between Bill Maher and Neil deGrasse Tyson highlights a larger cultural conflict where comedy, free speech, and evolving social norms collide. Maher, a longtime defender of unrestricted comedic expression, argues that comedy should remain a fearless space for challenging ideas, pushing boundaries, and even offending audiences when necessary. He believes that the increasing sensitivity of modern culture, often labeled as woke, is stifling creativity and forcing comedians to self-censor out of fear of backlash. On the other hand, Neil deGrasse Tyson suggests that comedy, like society, should evolve, adapting to changing cultural expectations and a growing awareness of harmful stereotypes and social inequalities. His argument aligns with those who believe that comedians should be mindful of the impact of their words, and that adjusting humor to be less offensive is not censorship, but rather a reflection of shifting audience values. This raises an essential question. Is comedy under threat from cancel culture, or is it simply evolving alongside modern sensibilities? While Maher sees the push for sensitivity as an attack on artistic freedom, Tyson's perspective suggests that comedians must recognize that humor exists within a social context that changes over time. Ultimately, the heart of this debate isn't just about Maher versus Tyson, it's about the broader tension between free speech and cultural progression. Should comedy remain unapologetic and raw, or should it acknowledge and adapt to the changing world? Let's get into it.
So Bill, how come nothing makes you happy?
Nothing. What are you talking about?
You're the grumpiest. You know what I feel like right now?
Why do you find grumpy?
I feel like now I'm going to turn 65. I feel like we're on your porch in the rocking chair. Get off my lawn,
I'm not the grumpy one.
No, let me ask. Can I ask? I know it's your podcast, but I've been carrying questions within me for you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Carrying them.
Okay.
Wow.
So you don't, as I heard you say, maybe you dot it here and there, but you've abandoned college campuses in your stand-up.
Every comedian has.
Okay. So
literally everyone.
Let me ask you. If you came up today, would you just read the landscape and develop a whole other comedic repertoire that does not end up having people picket outside your thing? Are you just transposed and you're not adjusting to the shifting terrain? So why is it their fault and not your fault?
Well, you're being so broad about the whole thing.
Yeah, I am.
Well, but that doesn't work because that doesn't ever explain anything. If you want to talk about specific issues, it's funny, this subject comes up a lot of times with like people who are, my friends who are around my age, 40. And they have like kids who are like super woke and drive them fucking nuts.
I got woke kids. I will never be as woke as my kids would want me to be, ever.
Yeah, but you're a little too. Still. And woke does not automatically mean better. Newer does not automatically mean
that's
better.
True.
So that's why I say to talk broadly is bullshit. You have to talk about what specific, issue are we talking about? The ones that get people's attention are gender issues.
Yeah, I know, but what?
Things like that. This is
Bill,
very different.
You cut your teeth in the 70s.
What I'm saying
is, and you read the room.
Okay, but I'll answer
you read the politics.
I didn't read the politics.
Yes, you did.
How the fuck do you know what I did?
Because I know your jokes of the era. They were great.
Well, a lot of people think they're great now.
Okay, they're still great.
I don't know if you don't any.
No. What I meant was,
am I not woke enough for you?
They were jokes that would work on a college campus. Okay, surely there's a portfolio of jokes that would still work on a college campus. Surely.
I would hope not. From what maybe some college campuses, the ones you read about are fucking insane.
You've given up on an entire generation, and you don't know how to make them laugh. I have given up on any place that doesn't even remotely attempt to believe in free speech, and thinks that anything that they hear that they don't like, that they don't agree with, is violence. These people are fucking nuts, and you should be calling them out. Somebody like you, who has standing with kids, should be not joining them. When there's a science
you're doing what
objectivity to it,
you're
yes.
doing what parents do. You're
What's that?
taking the path of least resistance, and therefore hurting the kids and yourself. Parents ruin both their lives. They ruin their fucking spoiled kids' lives, and they ruin their own lives because the kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level.
Bill hit the mark when he called out Neil deGrasse Tyson, our so-called cosmic prophet, for being completely out of his depth when it comes to stand-up comedy. Tyson, in all his scientific wisdom, somehow thought it made sense to suggest that Bill Maher, an undisputed legend in the game, should soften his material to accommodate the hypersensitive, easily offended college crowd. The mere suggestion is nauseating. Comedy isn't about walking on eggshells or tiptoeing around delicate sensibilities. It is about pushing boundaries, challenging ideas, and calling out the absurdities of life without fear. Imagine a world where comedians take the stage, not to make people think, laugh, or squirm, but to carefully curate their jokes in service of some nebulous, ever-shifting standard of political correctness. That's not comedy. It's censorship disguised as progress. As someone who respects stand-up as an unfiltered raw art form, I find the rise of woke comedy downright suffocating. Comedy isn't meant to be a sanitized, socially approved lecture. It's meant to provoke, challenge, and force us to confront uncomfortable truths. The greatest comedians, from George Carlin to Richard Pryor, from Joan Rivers to Dave Chappelle, never played by ideological rules. They pushed boundaries and sparked conversations society was too afraid to have. But now, a growing culture of performative outrage and ideological policing is shrinking the space for real, fearless comedy. Every year, the list of off-limits topics grows longer, and the consequences for stepping out of line grow harsher. At what point does comedy cease to exist and become just another tool for ideological conformity? That's the real question. Now, let's roll the next clip.
Thinking. I know you think that, like, you had a thing with Martina Navratilova. That's not the same thing.
Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but that's what I thought. It's not exactly, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
But this is what I always say about these kind of issues. Like, there's two ways that you can be benighted about something. One, you can be too far from it.
Yeah.
Like, I would be too far from certain issues, racial issues, of course. How could I ever know?
Right.
You can also be lost sort of thinking-wise, as I am, because I'm too far from it, if you're too close to it.
Yes. So here's my point.
That's my
I'm
piece.
trying to get through to people on my social media and the like, and I see what pisses people off, what they react to, and I say, all right, these are the landmines. I'm going to navigate that. I'm going to navigate.
Okay, you're
So I navigate it so that I can, because my father's greatest bit of wisdom to me, several nuggets. One of them was, it's not good enough to be right. You also have to be effective. And if you reject the college campus, then you have no influence on them. They're not going to say, oh, we're not going to get Bill, maybe we should change. Then you have no influence on them.
Sweetheart, I can wait till they grow up a little. Okay, I can wait. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about with comedians.
You put age rank on me?
Comedian. No, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know you know outer space.
Well, what I will tell you.
I know fucking doing comedy shows.
I'm a huge consumer of your trade.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, thank you on behalf of all the comedians
I'm
in my
a huge consumer. I'm just letting you know that.
You mean of all comedians?
Yes, of all comedians.
Okay, yes. Well, on behalf of all of us,
And I have
you.
a fast Jay Leno joke. Not joke, observation when you have a minute.
Please, let's not let the moment pass. I want to hear this.
Oh, you want to hear it now?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Leno?
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'd pay good money to watch Neil deGrasse Tyson go head-to-head with someone like Candace Owens. Now that would be a debate worth seeing. Imagine Tyson, armed with his scientific reasoning and analytical mind, trying to spar with Owens' razor-sharp rhetoric, no-nonsense rebuttals, and unapologetic stance on culture, politics, and ideology. It would be a tough day at the office for him, no doubt. Owens is known for dismantling arguments with precision and confidence, and it would be fascinating to see how Tyson, who is brilliant in his domain but often awkward in political and cultural discussions, would handle the intensity of that kind of exchange. Even in this interview with Bill Maher, Neil's discomfort was evident. His body language gave him away. He shifted in his seat, adjusted his tone, and at times seemed to be grasping for a stronger defense as Maher pushed back on his perspective. It was a reminder that even the most intelligent minds can falter when faced with a challenge outside their expertise. Tyson may be a master of astrophysics, but when it comes to navigating the cultural battlefield, the rules are different. Facts alone don't always win arguments. Perspective, conviction, and an ability to engage with the reality of ideological warfare matter just as much. Watching him struggle to hold his ground against Maher was entertaining enough, but throw someone like Candace Owens into the mix. That would be a showdown for the ages. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for the next fiery discussion.